Imagine a man cursed by the gods, doomed to perform a single, pointless task for eternity. He's deep in the underworld, and his job is to push a giant boulder up a steep hill. With every muscle screaming, he gets agonizingly close to the top. But just as he's about to get there, the rock slips, tumbling all the way back to the bottom. So, he has to walk down and start all over again. Forever. This is the curse of Sisyphus, a punishment made to be the ultimate torture, hopeless, futile labor. How many of us have felt that same soul-crushing dread? That feeling of being stuck in a repetitive, unfulfilling loop. The philosopher Albert Camus perfectly described the daily grind, rising, streetcar, for hours in the office or the factory, meal, streetcar, for hours of work, meal, sleep. We push our own boulders every day, wondering what the hell the point is. We search for meaning, for purpose, for some sign that all this struggle matters. And what do we get back? Most of the time, the universe just seems to meet our questions with a cold, unreasonable silence. This is the story of Sisyphus, but it's also our story. And if you stick around, you'll see how his eternal punishment reveals a powerful way to find joy, not in spite of our meaningless tasks, but because of them. The myth of a rebel. To get the secret, you first have to get the man. Who was Sisyphus, and why did the gods hate him so much? Sisyphus was the king of Corinth, and in Greek mythology, he was known as the cleverest man alive. He was a trickster, a rebel, but more than anything, he had an insane passion for life. He loved the sun, the sea, the feeling of being alive so much that he was willing to defy the gods themselves just to stay in this world. His first big mistake? Tattling on Zeus. He saw the top god abducting a river nymph named Aegina. When her father, the river goddess Opus, came looking for her, Sisyphus offered to spill the beans in exchange for a freshwater spring for his city. Zeus, furious at this mortal's audacity, sent Thanatos, Death himself, to chain up Sisyphus and drag him to the underworld. But Sisyphus wasn't going down that easy. When Death showed up, Sisyphus played dumb. He asked Thanatos to show him how the chains worked, and the moment he did, Sisyphus snapped them shut, trapping Death instead. For a while, nobody on earth could die. The sick suffered without release, and the god of war, Ars, got frustrated because his battles became pointless, bloodless jokes. Eventually, the gods had enough. Ars freed Death, who immediately grabbed Sisyphus and hauled him down to Hades. But Sisyphus had one last trick. Before he was taken, he told his wife, Merope, not to perform any funeral rites. Once he was in the underworld, he went to Queen Persephone and complained that his wife had disrespected him by not burying him properly. The happy Sisyphus. So, let's go back to our hero at the bottom of the hill. How does he embody all of this? As Sisyphus shoves his boulder up the mountain, he is pure struggle. His entire being is focused on a task he knows is pointless. It's tragic. But Camus points out that the real story isn't the struggle up the hill. The most important part is the walk back down. As Sisyphus descends the mountain to get his rock, he is, for a moment, free of his burden. In those moments, he is conscious. He is superior to his fate. He is fully aware of how pointless his task is and the certainty of his endless punishment. He doesn't hope that one day the rock will stay at the top. He doesn't pray for mercy. He is lucid. And in that lucidity, he finds his revolt. By knowingly walking back to his boulder, he accepts his fate without giving in. He refuses to let the punishment crush his spirit. As Camus wrote, there is no fate that cannot be surmounted by scorn. Sisyphus's scorn for the gods and his own suffering is his victory. His awareness of his fate makes the rock his thing. He owns his punishment, and by owning it, he transforms it. This is his freedom. He is free from hope, which means he's also free from the illusions that things could be different. This allows him to find passion in the only reality he has. Every atom of that stone, every glint of light on the mountainside, becomes his world. The strain in his muscles, the sun on his back, the feel of the rock, this is his universe. He embraces it completely. This is why Camus delivers his most powerful and famous line, "The struggle itself toward the heights is enough to fill a man's heart." One must imagine Sisyphus happy. Sisyphus's happiness isn't a cheerful, smiling kind of happy. It's a grim, hard-won joy. It's the happiness that comes from knowing the full extent of your misery and choosing to keep going anyway. He finds fulfillment not in getting to the summit, but in the struggle itself. His life has no grand meaning, but he creates his own meaning through his conscious rebellion. He is the ultimate absurd hero, finding victory in a situation designed for eternal defeat. We are all Sisyphus. We all have our boulders, our jobs, our relationships, our responsibilities, our search for meaning in a world that gives us none. We can let the weight of that rock crush us. We can live in the desperate hope that one day the struggle will finally be over. Or, we can do what Sisyphus did. We can look the absurdity of it all in the eye, embrace the struggle with revolt, and find our freedom and passion not at the top of the mountain, but on the slope. We can make the struggle enough. We can imagine ourselves happy. If this dive into the absurd gave you a new perspective, consider liking the video. And let me know in the comments, what's the boulder in your life, and how do you find your happiness pushing it?